you're just so your anxiety levels are so high. And like my roommate kind of agreed with him. They were laughing about it, and it's like it really did hurt. And I know I it's just the challenge of this whole thing where I kind of suck it up, and I still love my friends. I love my roommate. I understand where they're coming from. This stuff is hard to believe, even for me. Sometimes I'm like, if I wasn't a targeted individual, I don't know if I'd believe this, and I still say that. Um, I still say that. I kind of meet some people though that I'm like, they're so detail oriented and they're such researchers about everything that I haven't told them yet or anything, but I'm like, man, that person, I might want to tell them. But there are a lot of people who they aren't going to research it. They're going to kind of make up their own mind about it. I'm not saying my roommate's like that or my friend is, but they don't spend a lot of time on YouTube or researching directed energy weapons. So it's not really their fault, and I don't fault them for it. They're still smart people. They're still loving, and I love them. They're my friends. I definitely forgive them, in a second. It hurts sometimes because it just hurts because people, if they think that way about you, then they might do stuff that's not even part of the targeting. That's just kind of like, oh, you're crazy, so I can treat you like this way or that way. My friends aren't bad about that, so but that can happen a lot, where they're like, this person thinks they're being hit by, directed energy weapons. I'm gonna, I can take this thing or, treat them, bad. I don't get that or anything, but I'm sure it happens a lot. Um, I guess that's all I wanted to talk about this morning. Work, so got my little Q-Wave box that I'm gonna bring in, and I put 3 defenders up top, so my head started to feel better. One of them went out, and that's why I started feeling almost like the side of my head was tearing. And this is my Q-Wave Sentinel, $900. Very financially unfeasible. It does kind of work in the car though, because the car is such a small space that it just kind of bounces around. But another comment the other night was question Q-Wave, question these things. I do question Q-Wave. They've helped me a lot, and these things actually do work. They do work in theory and in practice. The Q-Wave personal defenders, I'm sure they work because some of them go off without me or my attackers knowing, and the pain just increases to where I can barely handle it sometimes. So I commend all of you for all you guys who go without defenses. I can't imagine. I don't think I could do it. And I thought my pain threshold was good because I've had Crohn's since I was 10, and it's a terrible autoimmune disorder. So this stuff wears you down. It's like torture on top of torture. So your body's tortured, and then they keep on coming at a high level. So it's that doesn't help your pain threshold. The body has to be able to experience pain and then get out of it so it can recuperate, and then it can keep on fighting pain. If they wear down your body and your mind, your pain threshold is actually messed with. And I saw a great, and look, you can see the soot on it. I saved my plates, but you can see all the soot. I haven't even wiped it all off. It's so hard to get off from my house fire. And then I'm recharging one of the Q-Wave things right there. I forgot what I was going to say, guys. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that I saw a great documentary, and it's kind of scary. It kind of scared me, and I found myself verbally responding to my attackers because I was subconsciously, I think, kind of scared because it was a lot of information. But it's the guy Omnisense, and he does a very, very detailed documentary on mind control, the history of it, and they use a lot of remote neural monitoring on him, so he's really done a lot of research, and they can do things like lower your pain threshold, once they work with your frequency long enough. I mean, that's why these people feel invincible. This technology really is advanced. That's why we're not being listened to, because it does seem like magic, but it is technology. Y'all remember that. Please remember that, if anything. And I don't want to offend anybody. I'm very religious. I'm very religious. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God. I believe there's miracles on this earth. There's miracles within us. Human beings are miracles just in themselves. But like, these are people behind technology, and if you remember that, it helps you a lot more. I know some people have said, it's spiritual attacks and, this or that, or I don't know. I know what I have experienced, and it's definitely people with this equipment. So if you remember that it is a technology, and when technologies come out throughout history, they do seem like magic, and they do seem all powerful. The gun seemed very powerful when it came out. The internet was just like incredible. These weren't. The gun was something you could weaponize. The internet wasn't something you could readily weaponize. But this will come out. People will become more aware of it, so it can't hurt as many people, and it won't seem like a magic, so that people won't try and get away with hurting people with it. There will be more accountability whenever it just comes out, like how this works, and people won't think it's so novel, and they won't feel like, God's over people's lives. That's another negative element that it adds to some of these people who will hurt people, is that this technology is so advanced that they're just like, well, we can just do whatever we want to do. People aren't going to believe in this. It's just they're going to think this person's crazy. And it basically turns a technology into something akin to, ooh, it looks like magic. And that's very dangerous. That's dangerous in society for the general population, and the people who want to keep power, it's good for. Which, right now I don't have a lot of faith in the people that are holding power and money in our world. I think everything's about war. It's about playing both sides. It's about making money off of both sides. I think it's kind of fallen into that corrupt category. I don't think it's impossible to change things or to live a peaceful life, to get somewhere where people have common interests outside of that. I just don't think it's hopeless. And I really am being trashed and murdered right now, really badly. My family, doesn't believe me. Well, they kind of have layers of belief, so it's very confusing. It confuses our relationship. My friends, they believe me on certain levels, but not enough to be like, this doesn't matter. It's like, and I'm not, like, I know she's probably not watching these videos, so, and I'm not insulting her at all, but it's like, the roommate issue. Like, I had an Altera plug, and she wanted to put in an air freshener thing, and she's definitely not a stalker. I'm worried about her. I'm worried about them messing with her, and I'm not worried about her ever being a stalker, because she's a good person. I've told her enough about this that where if she was approached, like, she'd just be like, okay, well, he's telling the truth now, and she would fight for me. She's that kind of person. She wouldn't care. But the thing is, like, she wanted to put in an air freshener thing, and she was like, why does it matter? This one plug isn't going to matter. And then it's like later in the night, she'd had some people over. They had to pull out a plug to put the blender in. She had to pull a plug out to put her charger on. So it's 3 plugs, and it does kind of matter. Those plugs are very powerful. I put him in a position because he's coming through that window at night of my bedroom, and that plug is right on that wall. So it's like things that if people don't understand what's going on, they don't mean to do things that kind of derail what you're doing or whatever, but they don't believe it. So they're like, this isn't a big deal. I'm just taking this out, and they don't. She's not trying to be an evil person. She's a good person. But the disparity between, like, what people can believe, and because this technology is so advanced, and the absurdity of somebody staying on somebody 24 hours a day for years and years. Like, people can't believe all this bizarre stuff mixed in together. It's like so many bizarre variables thrown in together that we are going to look crazy when we tell people. you know, not forever, but we have to understand that, because and that's a part of it. I believe that when this stuff was planned out, you know, they did think about that. They were like, let's throw in so many variables that it muddies up the water, and people don't know, you know, what's going on at all. That white truck just kind of pulled into that driveway and then drove back. It's kind of weird. Um, but so it's hard, and you know, it's made it a little bit more. It's made it a little bit better though. You know, having a roommate. You know, we went out the other night in a night that I probably would have, you know, stayed at home and, you know, just been dealing with this. You know, she was like, "Let's go out," and like, you know, I have those times where it's like that's nice to have. So it does balance it out. But you know, I'm really not protecting my body good enough, and you know, I'm not putting enough stuff around me. Like the Q-Wave stuff works, but it doesn't work good enough, and it doesn't work the same as being right by his weapons. That is a definite fact. When I'm fighting his remote stuff, the beams seem to be stabilized whenever they're coming from, whatever source they're coming from. They're more stabilized when they're hitting you from further away. The beam is stabilized when I put him by his weapons, where it was actually making the electromagnetic energy, the electromagnetic signal. It would stop it when it was unstable, because it's unstable in that weapon. So it's a lot harder to stop that beam once it's solidified, it's stable. Um, but like I definitely need to use more, you know, stuff around me. Like the copper really helped. Like I just put it over my head, and I got a lot of relaxation last night. You know, and the headphones, definitely get some headphones, um, because I found, like, you know, soothing music and stuff like that. Like I had never done that really. I kind of listen to music on the computer, but you know, I put on the Schumann resonance, and the deal is that with this surveillance, they're hearing what you hear. So if you put a bunch of music in your ears, you know, they try and stop my music. Like if I'm at the office, he will actually shut the sound off of like some of the windows that I open. I close the windows out, open new windows, the sound comes back on. Or he'll stop, like he stops my phone, like I'll go on YouTube and try and listen to something, and they'll stop what I'm watching. I really don't know how they do that, but it's, you know, they're in our phones and in our computers. So I can tell you they don't like that. They don't like it when you have earphones in, because they're surveilling the sound that you know that you hear. So it's going to be really loud for them. They're going to have to turn it down. They're going to feel like they're not surveilling you as well. So that's a great thing to do, to put the Schumann resonance right in your ears, and it's a really pulsing sound that goes, you know, that kind of just goes almost, and you know, it goes into your ears, and it's like it just kind of consumes your whole head, which is great. It really drowns this all out. And on their side, you know, they're getting that big hum on their surveillance equipment. So it's really good. They've tried to stop that, so I know that it works, and it's a good thing. Whenever they try and stop things, I just know they're good things to do. Like, I mean, on my computer, I tried to upload some YouTube videos, the whole things, because I hate, like, this is now a 45-minute video, and I'm going to sit here and talk a little bit longer, because I just need to. I need to get it out, because I'm really, my head is really hurting really bad, and I'm kind of downcast. Not really downcast, it's just I'm physically so tired. I don't feel spiritually tired, but y'all can kind of listen to me, and I'm not, you know, I will if I don't stay on a subject, and it's not because they've hit me in the head. If I don't stay on a subject, I will forget what I'm talking about, because they're really staying on top of that remote neural monitoring. You know, I don't know what they do with memories, but the other night I kept going downstairs, because I was going to put my little my brace for my arm, because I broke my arm, which I took off recently. But I kept going downstairs, and I couldn't remember what I was doing. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to get that. Then I would get downstairs, and I'd be like, what was I doing? And I don't have a bad memory. Like at work, I can remember stuff. Like I can remember what's going on with a lot of things, but it'll be specific stuff that they try and work on.